So I feel like we're trying to say the same thing in different ways so that you really take this home. As your leader, I've got to just drive this home to you. You can't lead people if you don't have a personally devoted walk with Jesus. Leading people is not about showing up on Sunday and demanding that they do things. Leadership is, I've been with Jesus all week long. I have grown my relationship with Him. I'm personally responsible for my connection to Jesus. And then all this other stuff flows out of that, right? It's funny how God does this. I got to throw this morning when running. So I was listening to a podcast, and they were interviewing Carlos Whitaker. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but was a worship leader in North Point, and almost lost his family over a porn addiction, and he's fine now. I mean, like, he's recovered, he's whole, but he didn't talk a lot about porn. He talked a lot about lies that he's believed his entire life. And the guy said, well, what do you do now? Like, how do you overcome it? And you're going to gasp when you hear this, because I did while I was running, but maybe because I was running. He said, every day I have a 7-page prayer that I read. I was like, 7-page. Every day, he says, I read a 7-page prayer to God. And then I take 30 minutes and I journal what I think God's saying back to me. Now, that's a man who's committed to identifying lies, rejecting them, and replacing them with truth. And he kept saying the same thing. You have to identify the lie, reject it, and replace it with truth. And so there's a common theme here, right? I think sometimes when we look at, back to the shape slide, as we're shaping culture, if the things that are coming out of our mouth aren't what need to come out of our mouth, they're coming from the heart, right? I mean, go through every one of those. They're all coming from your heart, because everything you do flows from your heart. So it will not do us any good. And I'm not saying this because, like, I've heard things about y'all and I think you're terrible. I'm just reminding all of us, it will not do us any good to have training sessions and teach you how to practice, how to greet people or, serve people. None of that does any good if we come into it with a heart that's not full of Him. Because everything we do flows from the heart, not from the head and the big stuff, but from the heart, right? So we're gonna take a break. I just want to, again, just remind you, man, if you'll take anything else out of today, and we're going to come back after the break, and Stephanie's going to share some practical stuff about CCP. We're going to try to give you some practical things going forward. But if you don't get anything else out of today, what I want you to get through Ted Cunningham, through Laura's testimony, through Carlos Whitaker, through this verse, is as leaders, you have got to pour into the relationship you have with Jesus, right?